Hello, so my name is Jordan Felon, and I'm a PhD student here at DCAL. My PhD is funded from a company called Deaf Research UK, and I've been doing the course for 2 years now. I'm currently completing my final year here as a PhD student. My supervisor are Miss Walbency Wall and Ruth Campbell. For my PhD, I have been researching sign language prosody. Really, the focus is on when people are watching sign language, how they are able to identify segments and sections in BSL discourse. This is using visual cues. For example, head nod, changing non-manual features, blinks, changing torso. I was able to carry out my research by looking at 2 different groups. There was a group of hearing people who have no knowledge of sign language and BSL native signers. Asking both groups to watch a series of sign stories and asking them to try and identify where the full stops would come in the sentences. So both groups watched and identified where throughout the clips they would think the stops were. Then after, I compared the 2 sets of results. Both groups were surprisingly relatively similar in the results. The hearing group had no idea of the context of what was being signed in the story, but was still able to identify visual clues to represent segments, pauses, and boundaries within the sign language. So I was then able to use these findings from that very experiment to show that the visual cues mentioned earlier, such as head nods, blinks, changing torso, are really important and are identifiable to even those who can't sign. So in linguistics, we can use evidence of visual cues as part of our research into sign language. We can use them as part of self-analysis, and those visual cues that can help us create segments in sign language structure. So at the moment, I am in the process of writing my final for my PhD, which is to be handed in next year in January. When finished, I'm hoping to get a job here at DCAL with the BSL Corpus project. It will be a postdoctoral research, is that right? Yep. And that will be for 2 years. Looking at looking at the use of sign language in 8 different regions around the UK. We'll be focusing on various parts of the UK throughout the project.